Hey babe, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dale Pasco, and over here I talk about all things femininity, faith, all things womanhood, self-care, personal development, and whatever else comes up in the conversation. Today, I want to share some tips on how to be loved. If you haven't yet, go ahead, hit subscribe. Make sure you tune in every couple of days for new videos. And I look forward to connecting with y'all, so don't be afraid of connecting with me on other social media platforms, and let's talk. For now, let's go ahead and get into this video. This morning, actually, I looked up my analytics just to see how everything was doing. I was able to see some of the things that a lot of people who are drawn to my type of content are searching for. And one of the top things this morning was how to be loved. And immediately my heart was just gripped with compassion for those who are searching for this, because I understand it. I get it. For me, when you think of that question, there are a few ways that can go. It's either a woman who's searching for ways to allow herself, give herself permission to be loved. Another way I see that is women are searching for the proper way to be loved and making sure she is dodging men who are abusive or friends that may be abusive, narcissistic, double-minded, just treating her any type of way. And then I see the woman who is saying, okay, I'm in this relationship, again, whether it be with my spouse or friends, and I need to know what I need to do to be loved. And it's possible that she may be feeling like she's not being loved correctly, which kind of goes with the second point, but really just making sure she's in position to be loved. What does it look like for me to even be loved? So I'm going to touch on a few of these things, and I think I may even turn this into a series, because I saw that another search was, what is love supposed to feel like? Which was just like, oh my gosh, and how to feel worthy of love. And we're going to get into those things a little bit, but I'm not going to delve all the way in. So I will share more content on those topics coming up soon. So how to be loved. I have gone through a very strenuous process of learning what love is supposed to look like, unlearning what I thought love was, understanding, one, that love first comes in the form of a person, and also knowing that I am, going to that question, worthy of being loved. When you look at yourself and you don't see that you are worth being loved, you will sabotage healthy romantic relationships, healthy platonic relationships that may come into your life to bestow love upon you. In order to be loved, you first have to see yourself worthy of love. I had to go through a process of understanding, one, love is not me being hit or abused. Thankfully, I've never been in an abusive relationship, but I have witnessed many. When I would look at these relationships, I began to despise the thought of love. And I remember when I was younger, there were times when I'd be like, I hate love. Like, love is raggedy. If love was good, then why are people being treated like this? Why am I feeling like this when I'm seeing this person treated this way? If love is supposed to be loving and fun and just making me feel good, why am I feeling so bad after I witnessed said experiences? I say this often, y'all, and I need everybody to get this. Love is not supposed to hurt. It's not supposed to put its hands on you. Love does not make you feel like you're less than. It doesn't make you feel worthless. So if you're in a relationship with anybody, even with yourself, and you find that you speak to yourself in a way where you feel worthless, or other people do things or say things or try to project things towards you, then that's a telltale sign that that is not a good relationship. Because ultimately, the things that we say to other people are things that we say to ourselves internally. Even if it never comes out of our mouth, it will come out in our actions or the things that we don't allow ourselves to do. If you're feeling as though you're not worthy of love, why is that? A lot of times when we're in relationships where people are belittling us, or we feel like we're not getting what we deserve, or we're even staying in relationships with people who are full-blown cheaters, why did you draw that type of person? We try to put the responsibility on other people all the time, which they have a responsibility to play in this, but you have to take responsibility for your life. Why do I feel like it's okay to be in a relationship with this person who doesn't keep their promise? Why do I feel like it's okay for this person to put their hands on me? Why am I in a relationship with someone who only calls me when they feel like it's okay for them? Why am I in a relationship with someone who intentionally tears me down? Why? Why have I settled for less when I know that I desire so much more? My relationships with men have always been like I was their homegirl, but they just loved showering me with love and affection and stuff like that. It was just always that. However, my relationships were tainted because I gave myself away to men who, first of all, they weren't my spouse. They weren't really proven to even be in a relationship with me. It was just like, it's whatever goes, because I didn't understand my self-worth at the time. Like, it's easy to say, you know, you have confidence and you care about yourself, you take care of yourself, you make money, you do all these things. But the truth of the matter is, I didn't realize how much I was just giving myself away in the name of, I mean, it is what it is. It's just sex. But it wasn't just sex. Every single time I was giving my body away to someone, I was giving a piece of myself away. I wasn't cognizant of those things. I was very ignorant to a lot of the enemy's devices. And sometimes you give yourself away to someone and you don't realize down the line while you start dealing with issues that you saw them dealing with. Maybe they were alcoholics and you start realizing, you start picking up drinking and you're like, dang, I don't even drink. But because your soul has been entwined with this person's soul in an illegal way spiritually, now you're picking up some of those negative habits. Or maybe it wasn't that. Maybe they dealt with, you know, low-key depression and tried to keep it hidden. But when you're going through things now, it's like, okay, I'm feeling depressed, and being depressed was never my thing, or suicidal thoughts. And the Lord reveals to you, hey, you need to cut this soul tie because this is a result of that relationship. And because you did it in such an illegal way, it has legal access to inflict those same types of feelings and emotions on you. And you want to make sure that you're not giving yourself away just because you can. Why would I give myself to you if it hasn't been proven worthy of you receiving me or even me receiving you? Why do I feel like I have to have sex with you just because you bought me a meal? Am I worthy of going out on a date with you without feeling like I have to have sex with you after? So that's another agenda that's out here. You know, you hear a lot of men talking about, hey, you know, I'm only taking a girl on a date, and if she wants to go on this, you know, high class date, then she better be giving something up after. And you see a lot of jokes and videos and shorts of men making jokes of taking women out on dates, and then the woman being like, hey, you know, I don't want to give my body to you after this. And he's like, oh, well, you can go home, getting her an Uber, dropping her off, whatever. And it's like, you are worth so much more than that. You're worth so much more than what's between your legs. That's the first thing. If you are dating someone and they're trying to push you and force you and pressure you into giving your body to them to prove that you're worthy, or because they just want to take a little test ride, red flag. One of the things I had to do was really sit down and say, okay, Day, you're giving your body to men for what? What are you getting at the end of all of this? Just more numbers, or the ability to say, you know, I'm really good in bed, or, you know, I had a great time. Okay, when that's all said and done, what was the real exchange? You know how you start doing work and healing for real, and it's like everything's happening at the same time? This was all happening at the same time. All right. But one of the things that I did was I pulled sex off the table, first of all, so that my mind could be clear and I could fully see what's going on. And so I began to have conversations. Well, the Lord began to have conversations with me and ask me questions. I remember crying out to the Lord one night, like weeping. I was depressed. I was just emotionally unstable. I didn't want to get up. I felt like life had failed me because of one man that didn't even prove himself worthy of being with me in the first place. And I remember just losing so much weight. At the time, I was like 117. And when I was going through that heartbreak, I think I got down to like 98 pounds, y'all. And I remember this person walking in and seeing me one day and saying, you lost a lot of weight. I mean, you're skinny. And I was looking at him like, this is a result of this raggedy relationship. After that, I remember just crying out to the Lord and thinking about all of the tears that I was dropping on a pillow for one individual that wasn't even my husband. Okay. And not saying that when you're married, you should be going through this stuff, because you should not. I'm saying I'm dealing with all this crap from someone. For what? Who are you? Like, why am I with you? And I cried out to the Lord, and the Lord said, do you know that I love you? I remember that night I cried and cried and cried for hours. I just cried myself to sleep. And I woke up the next day. I opened my windows. I took a real good shower. I did my hair. I got dressed. And I was like, I will never let myself get like this again. And I made a promise to the Lord that night. I said, Lord, if you heal my heart, I will help every single woman who was dealing with any type of heartbreak or not understanding who she is. I just need you to heal me. And the Lord began my healing process. But it started with one question from the Lord of saying, do you know that I love you? And my answer for real to that question is, it sounds good to say yeah, but no, I didn't know. Yes, I read it in your word. I still didn't allow myself to accept the fact that I was loved. It's important that you take the time to give yourself permission to accept that you are loved by someone. A lot of times we focus on people who aren't loving us. We focus on people who do us dirty. But you have people in your life that do love you. You have people in your life that do you well. You have people in your life that speak highly of you behind your back. Everybody's not out to get you. And I didn't realize that I was living in a woe is me state or a victimized state because I was constantly saying, well, this person did this to me, so, this is why I'm dealing with this. Or he did this, or he's out here messing with this person. But you're giving him permission to do that to you. He doesn't have to do that to you. You're giving him permission to do that to you. So why do you feel like you're worthy of being cheated on by someone that you're not even married to? And I'm not saying you should be cheated on when you're married, because you shouldn't. But I'm saying you're going through all this stuff with a man who doesn't even see you worthy of putting a ring on your finger. And you got to sit down with yourself and ask yourself some questions. Do I know that I'm loved? Do I know that love is drawn to me? Do I know that I'm able and capable of giving love? Who am I surrounded by, and how are they displaying love to me? Does love seem more so like it hurts or like it feels good? When people try to love me, am I accepting that love or am I rejecting it? Do I have a healthy relationship with love? Do I have a healthy outlook and view on love? These are questions you ask yourself to see where you are when it comes to love for real. I record myself on my phone often. I began doing this when I started really digging into love, right? And one thing I do is I record myself saying affirmations every morning because, one, I want to see how long it takes me to say them, but also I want to be able to play them back and listen to them throughout the day. This started with me looking up different verses of love, and I would find the verses of love and I would say, love is patient to Dale. Love is kind to Dale. Dale loves so well that she doesn't hold wrongdoings against other people. This is from verses 2 Corinthians 13 or 14. I'll put it on the screen. But I began to find different verses of love and inserting my name where it fit in the scripture. Also, just finding verses and speaking them on my voice memos and just playing them back. That began to help me to listen to it when I was sleeping and even just when I was driving and I needed to hear me saying that I was worthy. If you feel like you're not, why don't you feel worthy? What were the examples of love or lack thereof that you've seen? What was done to you in the name of love that really wasn't love at all? Sit down and ask yourself those questions, because that is where the healing starts for you to properly be able to have a great encounter with love. And you'll find that once your eyes begin to see love correctly, you begin to draw different people. Because you have new standards, you set new boundaries in place. You take yourself seriously. And when you know how much work it took you to be loved for real, please, you're not going to let these jokers just come in your life and just love you any type of, it's not even love. Y'all aren't going to come in here and lust in my life any type of way. You know what I mean? I had to allow God to pull me out of this. I had to come in agreement that he could take me out of this. I had to walk out of these situations. I had to make sure I put these boundaries in place, to make sure I saw myself this way. I had to get up every single day and say affirmations for 15, 20 minutes a day. I had to journal every day for 5 or 6 years. I had to pray. I had to intercede for other people who were mistreating me so that I could stay in a place of love and loving them when they weren't loving me. I had to do too much work. I had to fast constantly. People ask me why I fast so much. I fast so much because I know that if I don't, I am capable of returning back to who I used to be, and that person has to stay dead. I'm capable of allowing things to take place in my life that shouldn't happen, and those situations can no longer come back up. My mind, if I don't, will try to go any type of way, and I can't live a double-minded life, right? The Bible talks about instability in that. So I had to do too much to get to this place of knowing that I was worthy of love. To think that I would even allow somebody to step in my life and treat me any type of way is asinine. It's crazy. It's totally absurd. You got to get to that place of knowing I've done too much to sit here and let you play in my face and treat me any type of way. You know something that really helped me? God showing me just a illustration of the cross. I was in worship one time, and it was an illustration of what took place on the cross, and seeing a gaze at me. I was the only person standing. It was like on a hilltop. It was a cross and a crucifixion taking place on the cross, but there was so much love emanating from that cross. And I was standing across from that, and no one else was around. And God said, even if you were the only one, he would have done it for you. And so when I understood that and really basked in that and accepted that it was for me, yes, he did it for the whole world, but I'm worthy because he did it for me, and he would have done it for me even if there was nobody else. I'm a good thing out here because I'm loved. When you realize you're loved for real, please, that's a game changer. Everything in my life changed once I understood I'm loved for real. And if I have a father out here loving me this good, why would I allow somebody to treat me any type of way? So I want to talk about this before we jump off. The Bible speaks about loving your neighbor as you love yourself. Let's go to Matthew 22:37. And it says, Jesus said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first great commandment. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love the neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law of the prophets. So a lot of times we just talk about loving your neighbor as you love yourself, and then we get into, you can't love your neighbor if you don't love you first. But it starts with God. You can't love him if you don't know that he first loved you. And you can't give that pure love to someone else. The truth is, there are times when, we're doing acts of kindness and we're giving to people and we're doing for people as best as we know how. But how much better would love be if you were really allowing yourself to first be loved, which is to be poured into, and then knowing that you're accepting for yourself the fact that you are loved so that you're able to give that love purely. You can't really love yourself if you don't know that you're first loved, because where would the love come from? Where would you be pulling it from? I'm glad that there's a source greater than me that I'm able to be poured into. You are indeed worthy being loved. And if you feel like you're not, you got to sit down with yourself and have a real conversation. Don't be afraid of going through the healing process of making that a reality, because if not, you will continue to draw people in your life who misuse you, who abuse you, who use you all up until they feel there's nothing left and then abandon you. So you want to make sure you're good regardless of what other people are doing. And that first starts with loving yourself. Like, love yourself. You have to know that you're worthy of being loved, because if you don't know it, people will intentionally be drawn to your life to tear you to shreds. Love is such a protector. Because I love myself, I don't give anybody the chance to mishandle me. I don't care who they are, how long we've known each other, how cool they think we are, if we grew up on the playground together, if I just met them yesterday, if we look exactly the same. I don't care who it is. If I love myself this good, you're not going to come into my life and treating me bad. And if you do, that's your prerogative, but I don't have to give you access in me. I'll be kind, I'll be cool, but I will put things in place so that you know that this is not where that's going to happen, because I'm worthy of being loved. And if I'm going to love you, I expect to be loved. If you can't love me, arrivederci. I really do hope that this helped you to partner with God and allowing him to do the work on your soul, to show you how much you are loved and that you are worth love being bestowed onto you. We'll just unpack this bit by bit because it's so much. So if this was a segment that you enjoyed and you would like to see more content like this on femininity from a faith perspective, even in just being cute, being fine, taking care of yourself, and making sure you're living a life that is glorifying to the Father, then make sure you go ahead, hit subscribe so that you get in the loop when I post more content. As I always say, when God sends you to a room, make sure you step in there knowing that you're supposed to be there. I am Dale Pasco, and until next time.